Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the paper round, diving into the Sunday papers, everything football related, not just United, but of course, obviously United first, as we are predominantly a Manchester United channel here on FUTV. But if you are new to the paper round, then this is a sort of different vibe, different type of video to what we usually do. It's all mainly full on United, what's happening, team news, everything like this. We delve into the Sunday papers because we always feel like the Sunday papers say it a little bit differently, don't they? They go into a little bit more detail. The press get a different bit of access from clubs when it comes to Sunday papers. And we're reading through everything that's going on today. After the games that happened yesterday, I want to discuss actually how I think the season is already over in terms of all of the major issues that need settling, relegation, top four, the title race. I think the only thing that is going is the title race. We'll get into that. But of course, the main headline coming out from Manchester United this morning again, we discussed how Manchester United deal with transfers and how we can make things work last night on the show on FUTV. But I think today we're looking at how Manchester United and the reality of what is going to happen this summer and how we get around certain transfers. We're going to have to be a little bit clever. Jared Branthwaite, who Manchester United have been monitoring, who have been watching. It's been well written and documented about Manchester United's interest in the Everton centre-back, his history, what his good points are, what his bad points are. And I think with United in the position we're in, the price tag that was first put out for Jared Branthwaite, I think, is the issue with everything. Obviously, we haven't got as much money to spend. We went into that last night. And how we deal with financial fair play. There's a few other bits that I want to talk about regarding other Manchester United players that are going around the papers this morning as well as other things regarding our noisy neighbours as well. I want to get into that. But Branthwaite, first of all, I've put a poll up in the chat for you guys to actually get involved in. Tell me, because the story that is going around is of Harry Maguire being the make weight in a deal to bring Jared Branthwaite to Manchester United. Hence the word Branthwaite. That was clever, wasn't it? Come on, with that thumbnail, that's what it's all about, the papers, isn't it? Making these little lines. It's a difficult one with Branthwaite. A lot of people are saying, look, he's had one good season. And this is where United have always come unstuck, I feel. A lot of times when bringing players into the football club, it's always been a case of we need to be there first. We should have been the one that found Caicedo from Brighton. We should have been the one that got there ahead of other clubs like Benfica when they're finding the likes of Enzo and finding the likes of Neves. And you know what it's like. There's other clubs discover these players before Manchester United. My stance on this has always been, look, at Manchester United, it's different. You have to be a different type of young youth player coming through an academy to make it. And sometimes you have to have that break away from the football club. You have to have that step down or just learn the trade, go away and play at a different level with a different level of scrutiny, a different expectation, you could say. And I think that's where United have always struggled, because you cannot, I don't think, bring in a £5 million player from somewhere like Brighton do, like what Southampton used to do, and other clubs do as well, like Bournemouth and teams like this. You cannot do that at United, because that player then is just going to be thrust right into the limelight, which is Manchester United. There needs to be a step, I think, up, and then United. With Branthwaite, I look at him as a very, very good player, great prospect, but one season in the Premier League is my only real concern with this. Now, he has had some fantastic performances and some flops this season. We aren't anyone to criticise anyone's performances in Manchester United's defence this season. I don't think there's anyone right now that stands out in the whole back line at United that would compete with any of... they could compete, but they're not head and shoulders above any other defence in the league, are we? So what you've got to look at is Branthwaite's had that season on loan away at PSV under Ruud van Nistelrooy, who has heaped praise upon them. He's good with both feet. He's very quick. He's strong. He's fantastic in the air. He is the all-round centre-back, says Ruud van Nistelrooy. Everything brought him back, and he's been a revelation this season for them, helping them deal with the point deductions from the PSR rulings that they've been dealing with, and keeping afloat. They've done well considering having, I think, what is it in total, 8 points deducted at two different stages, then appealing them and getting them back to a certain point level again. It's been a difficult season. No one really being able to be brought into Everton to strengthen the squad. And an academy player coming through that is like a godsend. And I think Branthwaite has taken it in his stride, really. And you've got to just look at that as the stepping stone, I feel. Everton are the team that needed to be where Branthwaite was. Obviously, he's in their academy anyway and come through, but he needed that step before he moved to Manchester United, I feel. I don't think he would have been able to just come straight in. Like, it's very rare that you see a youth player come all the way through. Like, yeah, Kobe Mainoo and Garnacho, they've been brought through the academy and they've come through in a season of turmoil at Manchester United. Again, you could say very similar to Jarrod Branthwaite. When you're losing big key players, say, for instance, senior figures like Conor Cody at the back at Everton, and then you're just being thrust right into it. It's like there's no pressure and there's no expectation at Everton, and it's probably a good time to come through and learn your trade. If Branthwaite came through at Manchester United this season, I think it would have been a different ballgame altogether. Like, everything is being scrutinised. Sean Dyche has had the weight taken off him in terms of expectation because of everything that's been against him. And I think the Everton fans have taken to that. And I think that's just filtered down into the fans and the level of where Everton are going to finish this season and what the fans are expecting. So I think that Branthwaite is definitely a player Manchester United should be looking at. I'm not sure about the price, though. I'm really not convinced. If it is anywhere in that £70 million bracket, I think we need to stay clear of it. We cannot afford it. And it's a massive risk. Again, I've just explained the whole step up and process to come into Manchester United. To spend that amount of money, I would want a fully accomplished player to come right in that doesn't need, obviously everyone needs bedding in, but you know what I mean by young players coming through, then nurturing through into the first team. I just feel like we are going for the right type of profile player, but at that price, this brings in the João Neves debate again for me. I would love a player like that, but the price tag, I just don't think we're in a position right now where Manchester United can actually go and spend that amount of money on a younger player who is unproven. Both of these players at the top level are unproven. And where I love the profile and what we should be doing, we have to be very, very careful with what we do in this summer transfer window. So I want to get your opinions on that. I'm going to come to the chat in a second now. What is a fair price for Branthwaite? I've also got a poll going on right now, guys, in terms of which defender would you use as the make weight for Jarrod Branthwaite. I've given you four options. Like Willy Cambuala on loan to Everton as part of the deal. It's the only way I would see him doing that. I mean, Manchester United, I think, are going to negotiate a new deal for Cambuala over the next coming weeks. He's out of contract this summer and hasn't got that 1-year extension. So I think that's needs to happen first of all. You've got Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof and Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire, who is rumoured to be part of this deal, is still top of that list in your votes as well with 49%, over half the vote near enough. Lindelof at 41%, and now Aaron Wan-Bissaka at 10%. I don't feel like Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire should be made as part of this deal. If there is any centre-back for me that needs to go as any sort of deal, then I look at Lindelof as the perfect player to get rid of. I think Harry Maguire has done well this season, and he's good. I think he's a good professional to have around the club. I feel like we could get more out of Victor Lindelof. Like, Harry's got that one more year on his contract like Lindelof has. I just feel like we can use Harry Maguire more. He's stronger, and as a emergency centre-back, which he should be at the club, if we spend right this summer, I think he would work better than what Victor Lindelof would. And I don't feel like Manchester United right now can afford to be getting rid of a senior player like Harry Maguire and bringing in someone like Branthwaite. Like, I think Harry Maguire has got use more than what Lindelof has. I would be throwing Lindelof in out of that list personally. I don't think he is good enough for Manchester United. Nope, maybe Harry Maguire isn't either, you would say. But honestly, I feel like at Lindelof, you would probably get a little bit more out of. I think you could negotiate a better deal in bringing Branthwaite in as well. Obviously, I mean, Harry Maguire has been former captain of the club and everything like that. I know that doesn't come into it and everything, but let's be honest. Like, Victor Lindelof has been here long enough. If anyone deserved to be used as a make weight, it's definitely Victor for me. I'm not trying to convince everyone. You've all got your own opinions and you have spoken with your votes. I'm going to go into the chat now on what you're saying about Branthwaite. Branthwaite has not impressed me. He might be another Maguire. He's a lot quicker than Maguire, I would think, Nathan, more than anything. But this is what I'm opening it up for. I want to gauge where you guys are at with Branthwaite as a player. Like, we've talked about him before in the show. A few months have passed now, and in the middle of the chaos that is Everton, where are you at with how he's adapted to that? Eves is 19, so absolutely young, gonna need bedding in, still gonna be a pro, and my Man United door succeeded. It will be because we've not got pro. I have no idea what that means, Dan. The complete mismatch of words there. Sorry, pal. Homegrown quota is all we need to worry about for now. No, I really don't think we do. I'm not even going to bring homegrown quota in. I don't think we need to discuss that. We shouldn't even be looking into that. We've got enough, I feel, with what we've already got at the football club. 40 to 45 million max for Branthwaite or par X Lindelof, says Stu. Dobby says, I think 40 is too much. I don't see anything spectacular from Branthwaite. What is spectacular in the defender? This is like when the defenders become so expensive. They're like the new in thing in transfer windows, centre-backs right now. They need to do a lot more as well, and there's a lot more expected of them. Does Maguire want to be back? I'm not sure what you mean by that, Demo. I mean, does Harry Maguire want to actually still be at Manchester United this summer? I think he does. He is a United fan, and I think we would benefit more from keeping Maguire. It's just my opinion on that. Richard says, I would keep Maguire for the bench and use Lindelof. However, I am still unsure about Branthwaite. So even with like talking about who you would use in whatever deal to make this happen, it's like there is no conviction in the fan base, it would seem, with Branthwaite. And this is the risk, and this is the risk with the money. So you would hope that Manchester United have got a list of defenders. Like, for instance, guys, let's get into what you would think is a decent centre-back to come in. Is there anyone ahead of Branthwaite that United might have been linked with, or you think could come into the football club for similar or even less money? Get into the chat right now and let me know. Everton would rather have Lindelof than Maguire. I would have thought so as well. What else have we got here? Tony Bond says, Rude was a top striker, so if he rates Branthwaite, he should know what top defender is to come up against. Who's scouting these players? It's a good question. Who is part of the new scouting network at Manchester United? Has that changed? Has this new regime that's come in with Sir Jim Ratcliffe and INEOS, is this a new way for Manchester United going forward? It's really difficult right now. We don't know enough of what's going on behind the scenes. We know a lot of the scouts have gone. Obviously, we know all about the hierarchy that has already been kicked out by Sir Jim and INEOS. So, do we need more time to scout more players? Are we trusting the old regime right now, and then a decision's going to be made by INEOS and the people that they're bringing into Manchester United? It's difficult because we don't fully know who is in charge of the scouting network at Manchester United. We don't know what the hierarchy is in that. And I just look at Manchester United right now, and there has to be a big part of what's going to go on this summer that was already set in motion from the old regime. It has to be. INEOS have not had enough time, unless they were doing work privately behind the scenes and have scrapped everything that United have been working with. Because let's not forget, only 2 months ago, it was going to be Murto and Eric Ten Hag summer. That's who was going into the summer with the plan for Manchester United. That's obviously been scrapped now, and that's obviously brought up all of the news regarding Ten Hag and what is going on. So realistically, I think there has to be a part of what was going on last summer that's happening right now, and there has to be a secondary plan. I don't think INEOS have had enough time to get through what they need to get through. And I think that's the problem that we've got. Like, it's the unknown, really. I mean, the unknown might not actually be too bad for United, because what we have known is a certain list of players that we never seem to be able to get target one from, and we always drop down to get in second rate. Like, I'm not saying that Thailand is second rate, but the interview that Ten Hag did this week, he pretty much confirmed that they were going to be, they wanted Harry Kane, but ended up spending near 72 million on Rasmus Højlund, another unproven player. Luckily for us, he's proved to be a lot of worth this season to us with the goals, the 14 goals that he scored for the club. So we got away a little bit with that one, but still, that's the situation happening all over again. A 20-year-old for 70 million, that's what we were dealing with Rasmus. And he wasn't even proven at the top level. He wasn't even proven in Atalanta. So whoever scouted Rasmus and what qualities he brings, I would like to know, because I don't think that was a bad deal. I think we did scout well with that there and committed a lot of money in our transfer budget to a player that only scored 9 goals, knowing what attributes he's got and what he can bring to United in the next season. So that would be interesting to see. Hey, Adam, would you take Jamie Vardy as a striker? I'm done with the older strikers now, honestly, mate. Like, I know what you mean by that. And you know what? A few years ago, I would have took Jamie Vardy. If you'd offered me Jamie Vardy 3 years ago, I'd have jumped at the chance. But I just think now, like, come on, it's time now. He's coming to the end. He's probably got one more season with Leicester in the Premier League, I feel, at best. He's only just started turning up second half of the season in the Championship. But no, I wouldn't take Jamie Vardy. The option was there a while ago. Like I said, I would have taken him. I think he's a great striker. I love his attitude. I love his work rate. And you know what? In a United team, I think he would have done well when he was in his prime. I think United should have looked at that option a while ago, but time has gone now for me. Could Kim Min-jae still be an option, says Stu? No, he's well contracted into Bayern. They're not going to let him go. Adam, I don't see lightning quick speed, passing range, reading of the game, etc. He's nothing spectacular. He's expensive because he's English, and I worry if he's INEOS priority target, says Dobby. Okay, I understand that totally, but what I need from you guys is another option. Who else then? Who else do we know enough about to come into Manchester United? Or are we going to trust the scouts to do their work? That's what I think we have to look at as well. If we're going to say no to Branthwaite, I'm going to pick up the bad bits about this kid's game and call him out for not being good enough for Manchester United, then we obviously need someone else. So who is the next one to come in? We've obviously talked about Todibo. We talked about Silva at Benfica as well as another option. Tapsoba at Bayer Leverkusen is supposedly linked with Manchester United as well, and we're looking at him. Where do they draw the line? What do they make? What are the characteristics? I think what you've got to look at with Manchester United looking at the back, like Ten Hag has constantly gone on about his back four, not having a consistent back four. He also says, look, the proof is there in last season that with a consistent back four, we won the Golden Glove. Like, it wasn't because of the defence. It was because of the way United was set up. We were very, very defensive, and we scored hardly any goals last season. We struggled big time with goals, like we have this season. For some reason, this season, we've tried to be a bit more expansive and play a different way when we really haven't got the players to do it. So I sort of like a little bit of a contradiction from Erik Ten Hag when he was talking to Gary Neville, I thought. But I do believe that a consistent back four helps. I believe that a young, dynamic one with speed definitely helps. You only have to look at Arsenal with Saliba and Gabriel and how much that's benefited them and them two growing through together. A young partnership given time definitely works. Manchester City's, again, young, dynamic, strong, quick. They've got plenty of options there. Manchester United, I think, is coming to an end. Like the era of the failing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer defenders, the Jose Mourinho defenders, that's all coming to an end in the next couple of summers. So what's next? Which way do INEOS want to go? How do they want football to be played at Manchester United? Branthwaite, I think, hits the mark in quite a few categories. And I think a lot of the time you look at the comments that Sir Jim Ratcliffe said regarding the Kylian Mbappe question, and the way he answered that question was, and obviously I'm not comparing Branthwaite and Mbappe, but it's the same rule. It's like, I'd rather discover the next Rio Ferdinand or the Nemanja Vidic than go out and buy him. Now, the problem you've got with that is, like, you tell me, like, which defender out there is worth 70 million right now? Honestly, don't think there's any. So it's a case of balancing the finances and how much you want to invest into young talent against someone who is proven. Because you could probably get a proven defender for 70 million. You're buying youth and you're buying longevity. That's what you're buying with Branthwaite. But is he good enough? That's got to be the question that's asked when you're recruiting players like this. Has he got what it takes to give United that kickstart into next season? basically, the question I'm asking right now to you guys, and you can answer me in the chat, is if we bought Branthwaite this summer, does he go right into Manchester United's team? That's what you've got to ask. Like, when Martinez is fit, is it Martinez and Branthwaite? Does Maguire think that he is still better than Branthwaite? Does Lindelof think that he's better? Like, there's a lot of questions that need asking, I feel. And it's a commitment because 70 million, the player has to start. It's too much money to spend on a player that you want to develop over time, I feel. So that's where I'm at with Branthwaite. Keep your questions and comments coming in on that one. Diego Carlos has all the attributes, far better fit than Branthwaite and better priced. What else have we got in here? Missing Leach's calmness in defending his organisation and distribution from the back. And his leadership as well, I feel. Definitely right with that one. Josh is in the chat as well. Morning, Josh. Kenny's got a comment coming in. He says, I think it's actually beneficial to look abroad for a centre-back. Will be plenty of English centre-backs from academy in coming years due to Brexit fallout. So homegrown loses its lust. Willie coming through is another option for us. Like I said, that contract situation with him needs to be definitely sorted out. In terms of Manchester United's academy defenders as well, we talked on this the other day, but it does look like we will get that financial boost for PSR and financial fair play from Alvaro Fernandez going to Benfica, the committed fee there. And with him being, I don't know if rules apply to foreign academy players and how long academy players are there, that you get full financial fair play relief. I need to check up on that one because Alvaro Fernandez would definitely come under the academy player graduate 100% profit with financial fair play. And it's looking more unlikely like he is going to be going. Like, again, the Mason Greenwood situation. Like we talked last night about how a loan is looking very likely again for him because no one can afford him. There's more news of that. And I think as the season draws to a close now, I think everyone's glued in to seeing who comes forward for certain players, who's in the market for a certain type of player. We're hearing that Juventus and Atleti are also interested in Mason Greenwood, but two players there that would be massively beneficial if we sold them because of the 100% academy player financial fair play rule. So I think that as well definitely helps. Branthwaite is both-footed, says Jordan. Yes, he is. I was watching Andy Mitten yesterday, and what he was saying is that Brexit has caused a problem in that you can no longer bring a 15, 16-year-old from foreign player in to develop. No, it's a bit later aged now. Things have changed a lot with that. And we do need to keep our eye on that. It is true. There is a lot going on right now with how foreign players are brought in, because this is what we did with we did with Garnacho when we bought him from Spain. It's a way that football clubs are using, an option that they're using now, buying them cheap and bringing them into the academy, very young, and then developing them for a certain amount of years, and then calling them homegrown talent as well, and then making a profit, 100% profit with financial fair play. It's a big loophole within the academy graduate system for financial fair play that City have tapped into. Obviously Liverpool, I think City and Liverpool both got done for this though in the early years of it. So it's definitely something that we need to keep an eye on. But I think we have got a lot of good academy players coming through right now. And I think for United, we just need someone and a structure in place where if they're not going to make it at the football club, we can actually profit from them financially as well. And I think that's something that this club has definitely not done over the last few years. Well, the example has been City and Liverpool that have done it, and we have not. And it's embarrassing that we haven't. It's a monster croissant, by the way, today, guys. Full on, chocolate filled with chocolate sprinkles on top. It's not like that flat pan one last week. That was disappointing for everyone, I know. But yes, it is a chocolate croissant this week. So really excited. And can't wait to finish up so I can stuff that in my mouth. Adam, I know what you're talking about, but the point system is becoming more enforced, not less. Homegrown is going to be essential. Oh, no, I'm not disagreeing, Kenny. I know it's not. It's like literally players from England are going to become very valuable in academies. And I think we need to be ready for the change. Like, we haven't really been, with the way that things have changed over the years in football, like rules with academy graduates, City and Liverpool both being done for that, in buying foreign players in, housing the parents, giving them more financial benefits to come and play at their academy rather than other clubs. I remember when that happened, like, and everything should have been changed there and then for that one. And things were changed then, but obviously it moves a lot. Like, the landscape moves a lot with the academy rules and everything. But we do need to be on top of the young English players especially, because I think Manchester United are going to have to benefit or find a way of benefiting from that because of not being in Europe, because not playing at the high table. For Manchester United, we are going to have to rely on our academy to fill in a lot of the gaps, because the deadwood that is there right now, we obviously cannot get rid of for the right price. And they're all going to end up just walking away sooner or later. And then numbers are going to be short. Academy players are going to have to be brought through to cover a lot of the holes. And I haven't got a problem with that. But it's making sure that them players are nurtured and brought through at the right times as well, and not just rush through for the sake of filling a gap in a squad. So I just feel like there's a lot that Manchester United can learn from mistakes that other clubs have made. And well, we've got a fresh start under INEOS and a new structure, and Wilcox coming in, which I think was one of the smartest moves we made in terms of bringing new staff into the football club. I think that is where Manchester United can benefit more, because we are an appealing club. We have got the academy history. We've got the graduates, the 250th graduate in Ethan Wheatley that came through onto the pitch the other day. I think finances aside and the homegrown side of things changing, United is more of an appealing academy to any other club, I feel. And I think that's what we have to tap into more. Invest in Carrington, invest in the new training ground, the best in class, like INEOS is saying. Like, the structure and the foundations of the football club are what INEOS want to build and want to actually enhance, I think, more than anything. And just create our own. Like, create our own superstars again, like United always used to do. But in terms of Sir Ratcliffe himself, like, since he has bought Manchester United, his net wealth has actually gone up. He's now worth 16.6 billion, some reports are saying, since he took over Manchester United. So, yeah, since his acquisition, his assets have rose in value of 1 billion. So it's not bad, is it? He's not doing too bad. If he makes a success out of Manchester United, man, like, he's talking about not looking to make profits and not take any money out. Like, the worth is going to be, he's going to be worth a lot more, put it that way. So, yes, agree 100%. Our academy needs to be our biggest asset again, and as it once was. Like, we just moved away. We wanted to turn into Real Madrid back in the day. Like, we came away from what was working with our academy players. We had so many come through, so many academy players come through and make it at United, and then all of a sudden we wanted to spend. Football changed. I think it changed when the Roman Abramovich era came in, and then City's riches and everything that came in, and the let's just say the sugar daddy type football owners came to the fore. That's when everything started to change within football. I think United just flexed their own sort of muscle to stay ahead, because everyone was fast tracking rather than doing it from the ground up. They just fast tracked. Chelsea did it, City did it, and eventually these clubs have now caught up with the likes of United and Liverpool. And I think this is where United just got stuck in the melee of trying to keep with the times. And we ended up buying players that we didn't need to buy, and for too much money. Please give the video a like as well, guys. Almost 30 minutes in. We're almost at that 100 mark. That'd be fantastic if you could. Thanks for joining us here on the Paper Round this morning. Hopefully you've all got great plans as well going ahead for the rest of the weekend. Obviously, tomorrow night, United do need to stand up and be counted. We talked about it yesterday, like the results yesterday and the papers are full of everything that's happened yesterday. I did want to talk quickly about the actual league where it is right now. I mean, it feels like it's over. Like, the only thing that is left to be decided is who wins the league, which is Arsenal or Liverpool. I'm reading what Jamie Redknapp's saying that the two big games coming up for City and Arsenal are Spurs and Manchester United. So it's like both local rival teams could do each of us a favour in a way. So United could do City a favour, and Spurs could do Arsenal a favour. It's crazy how it's panned out and how it's worked out, but who is going to buckle? And likes of Redknapp saying in the papers this morning, like, I think both United and Spurs will put up a fight. It's going to be tight. It's going to be tense. My money's probably still on Manchester City because I just don't have any hope for United playing against Arsenal. Like, I think Spurs are in a better place still, even though they've completely fallen off recently. I think they're in a better place than what United are. And I think that game at the Spurs Stadium is going to be the big one. I think Arsenal will beat United. I'm just going to hold my hands up and say they're a better side. Like, if United turn up, I think it's probably even more embarrassing that we are turning up for these Liverpool's and Arsenal games at Old Trafford and not turning up for other games. It's really bad right now for us to, as a fan base, to look at Manchester United picking and choosing certain games to turn up for. I'm embarrassed by it. I am. And I do think we will turn up and put a fight up against Arsenal, but I think they've just got too much quality. They're playing the best football in the league right now. You can forget about Manchester City and what they're playing. I just don't like watching them anymore. It's pretty boring. They're getting all the decisions. I mean, I don't know how many penalties they've had this season. 100 likes in the bag. Cheers, guys. Thank you very much. Keep them likes coming up, share, and make sure you're subscribing to the channel as well. Please, thank you very much. But in terms of City, what's going on? Haaland had his shot back at Roy Keane yesterday. I don't know if you've seen it. I don't care about that man, he said. It's easy to say that after you've scored 4 in a dead rubber game with Wolves. Season completely over and them safe. Like, they just seem to get the look. They do. But if I was to bet, I would put my money on City. Can Arsenal bottle it? Like, there was a good performance from Arsenal yesterday against Bournemouth. Deserved it in the end. I thought City, the game was done before half time. And them games you'll love when you're in a title race. I still remember them days for United. It's a long time ago, but I still do remember them. And hopefully we can get back there in my lifetime, challenging for titles. It was City at the end of the day. I think what you've got to look at is, as soon as Pep goes, it ends. Like, that invincibility sort of feel that they do have. And you know, like, in games like that, they're just going to put to bed. Like, when he goes, it will all change. Like, Liverpool are going to find out next season. I think they're going to find out a big slap back down to reality, I feel, when Klopp's gone. I'm not saying new manager coming in is not going to do a job, but he's not Jurgen Klopp. And that little bit of extra, that little bit of bite that these managers have got, that expertise in Klopp and Pep, that is not there with a new manager coming in. It's not. And I just think that Liverpool will find it difficult next season, incredibly difficult, in fact. I don't think Slott's got anything bad going for him. I think he's coming and he plays an all right brand of football from what I've seen, but it's not Jurgen Klopp and it's not the pressure of the Premier League, and it's not so many of them superstars leaving Liverpool that are going to probably go this summer. So if you're looking at it as a challenger, say you're a Newcastle looking to turn it around, Manchester United, Spurs, I would be looking at that position of Liverpool next season. I would be saying that's the one that I think we can sneak into that top 4 with, because I think they're the ones that are going to drop off. Now, I could be completely wrong and everything just carries on with Liverpool, and it'd be typical, wouldn't it, that we buckled when Sir Alex Ferguson left, but when Klopp leaves them, they managed to carry on. And I know their regime and structure is a lot better and secure than what ours was when Sir Alex left. Obviously, David Gill going as well at the same time. But if I had to pick a team to fall out with that top 4 next season, obviously I know the investment that Villa are going to get with their owners, very rich as well. I think they're actually in a stronger position than what Liverpool are, Villa. Now, I'm not saying that Villa are going to be able to handle the pressure of Champions League football and the Premier League and they're not going to drop off. I would just say, like, there is an air of optimism for other clubs looking to get back into that top 4, I feel, because I think that Villa and Liverpool next season, people will be looking at them. Villa's first time in the Champions League. Liverpool, first season without Jurgen Klopp in God knows how long. There's going to be a reaction. I think Arsenal and City, you can say, are definitely going to be there, but there's two places probably. And I would say Liverpool's more than any is going to be the one that everyone will be looking at as an opportunity to get back in there. So, yeah, it's going to be... I think it's going to be a better season next season for the unknown. And I think United should be looking at it and going, right, there is a half of opportunity. Like, I'm not confident that we're going to get into the top 4 next season. I'm not. Like, I don't know like how this is going to start with Sir Jim Ratcliffe, whoever the manager is. In terms of the manager, I just wanted to pick up on something that Tuchel was talking about. So people have been saying that Tuchel is just going to rebuff Manchester United, and he is seriously thinking about staying at Bayern Munich. I've seen a few people talking about it, and I've always said I don't believe in it. But the word out from Thomas Tuchel, and this was put out by Fabrizio Romano not too long ago, and this is Tuchel's words. It reads, "Since we agreed to part ways, Bayern has been looking intensively for a new coach. I'm guessing probably even before our conversation, as in conversation to let Tuchel go. That's bad motivation to then say, let's go, let's do it again with you. Nah, from my point of view, that's clear." And that's what Tuchel has said. That's from the horse's mouth. So when you've got people talking about Tuchel doing a U-turn and staying at Bayern Munich, and this is definitely going to happen, it's not black and white. It's definitely not. Tuchel knows. And I think he is a man of principle. I think he is a man that wouldn't go back on a decision. So you can definitely see Tuchel is going to be available next season. And again, I'm still going to take Tuchel over Ten Hag. I think he's a better manager. Whether Ten Hag can prove us wrong, I don't know. Honestly, it's the unknown. There's a large majority part of me that wants Erik Ten Hag to turn everything around more than anything else. There is. And I hope he does. And the noises and what everybody is saying at the moment, we talked about this last night, but I mean, guys, you tell me, like, how do you feel right now? Not what you think should happen. I want you to get into the comment section now. Just tell me, with everything that's happened, everything that's been said, the way that this week has gone, the news that has come out, where do you feel the Ten Hag situation is? Do you feel like he's looking closer to staying, or do you feel like it's still just a bit of a cover-up? I made my mind up with this, and I said, like, with no football going on, the early press conference, setting that whole scene up with Sky for the press conference and him saying it's that complete crap, it just wasn't Ten Hag. It's not the normal Ten Hag response. And I think something definitely has been said behind the scenes, and people know a lot more. Obviously, they should know a lot more than us, but people know a lot of what is going to actually happen now, I think. Speaking to the journalist yesterday, they said to me that it doesn't look like they've got a plan yet. Like, if they had a manager in mind, I think they would have announced it, and something would have already been said. So, yeah. JJ says, he's saying Bayern went to look for managers, didn't find any, and said, hey, we're going to stay with you. And he threw his toys out the pram. Please press the like button, guys, says Gray. Thank you very much, Gray. Please do, everyone. Andrew says, went to Burnley away in late 60s, early 70s. Can't remember exact. Law scored with a bicycle kick on the pitch, covered in snow. They would not play on that now. Completely different conversation to what we're having, but yeah, bring back the good old days, I would say. Yeah, I wouldn't look to swap with Branthwaite unless it's with Lindelof plus 10, 12 million. Otherwise, go for the best available young defenders in Silva and Gonzalo Inacio. Yeah, Inacio's another one. Like I said before, Tapsoba as well. I think he's a good defender. A good young defender. There's plenty of defenders out there, I think, available in the market. That Gary Neville interview seems to me like an INEOS PR move to say Erik Ten Hag is staying without saying it. A lot of people have said that post-life. Tuchel over Ten Hag. I'm sorry, I just can't listen. Sorry, Craig. Is he not better than Ten Hag? I think he clearly is. He's won more. So, like, after this season, really? We want to have that debate? Announcing manager situation at the end of the season We just have to wait. It will be after the FA Cup. I said it last night. If there's no announcement within that last week of May, I fully expect Ten Hag to be the manager next season. Morning to you as well, Daz. Good to have you in, buddy. Hope you had a great night last night. Adam, what do you think of a centre-back partnership of Martinez and Cambuella? I think he's still too raw. I think he needs another year at least coming in and out and doing, having some game time here and there. I'm not fully convinced yet that he is going to be the defender we need. He's got good qualities, but he's still raw. I would say definitely give him a contract, but he's not a dead starter for me yet, Jordan, is what I'll say to that. A few people. I think he's staying, Adam, and there is nothing we can do. That is why I said yesterday we have only the fans to get us top 6 and another FA Cup. Anthony, apart from the age, Maguire is levels above Branthwaite. Why are we even having this discussion? Branthwaite is bang average. Another one that doesn't think that Branthwaite is worth the money. It's clear. I think Ten Hag is staying another season, but INEOS will bring in their own man. A lot of people have said this. Anything in Elise now coming to Man United for 60 million. There is reports like Fabrizio Romano has said that Elise is definitely on United's radar, like every other person has said as well. Like, I've always said I like Elise. I'm worried about his injuries. And it's not a position I feel United need to be looking at desperately this summer. I don't think we need that forward, that winger right now. I don't think Rashford will go, even though I want him to go. I think we've got other players coming back from loan. We've got Ahmad. What we're going to do with him? I mean, here's a question for you. Ahmad or Elise? Tell me now. Which one would you prefer? The guarantee that Ahmad's going to be there without injury. I know he's just come back from a big injury, but it's the consistent hamstring injuries that worry me with Elise. Like, would you keep Ahmad over Elise and spend 60 million elsewhere on like a centre-back or a centre midfielder? I think that's how I would look at it more than anything. Newcastle is now nailed on to finish 6th or maybe 5th. Can't see United beating Newcastle. Adam, do you think Goldfish is on Manchester United payroll? I don't think so, mate. No, I really don't. Cheers for the super chat again, mate. Eric Ten Hag will finish his contract. Sir Jim doesn't want to pay out. Risk, first year of the 3-year plan. A manager that knows he isn't going to get a contract after this one. What's the point? What's the point in him being there? Like, this is the very difficult situation that INEOS have to navigate for me. And I don't know if they're going to go about it the right way. A manager would always want the guarantee that he's going to be there the summer after because he's working on a process. Ten Hag in his interview said that he wants another 5 years. Ten Hag has said in public, in 5 years, we will be competing again for the Premier League. INEOS have said they want to be competing in 3 seasons. Conflict of interest? Issues behind the scene? Like, completely different looks on what Manchester United's future looks like. I don't think this is going to be... I don't think this is going to end well with Ten Hag. I want him to succeed, but he's got a different vision to what the new ownership's got already. And we know that just from what both of them have said. So that's not hearsay or made up rumours or anything like that. Ten Hag thinks it's going to take 5 years. I agree with him. 5 years. INEOS think 3 years. Problem? Yes. There is issues there. Like, 5 years, having had 2 years already. I mean, what manager gets 7 years to start competing with the amount of money that's been spent? That's unrealistic. I feel like it's 5 years from now. I just don't believe that that's with Ten Hag. I could be wrong. Like, I just cannot ignore the first 2 years of Ten Hag. I cannot ignore dropping out the Champions League in the group stage with that crap group. When we did have a lot more players available as well, let's not forget that. And everyone goes on about the disruption with the injuries all season. Like, we had a lot of players fit for that Champions League. We had plenty there to cover. certain positions, and we failed. So yeah, but I don't see eye to eye on Erik Ten Hag. I'm old enough to remember Fergie's first 3 seasons. People wanted his head. Kenny, I know what you say. Everyone uses that as an excuse. They've used it for every other manager, Kenny, as well. Like, you still got to look at what's happening now. It's a different era. Fergie came in to a completely different culture at Manchester United, and he changed it. He had to change it. This is completely different for Erik Ten Hag right now. I'm not convinced with his in-game. Like, are you willing to sit there and give a manager 7 years to even compete? Not win, but just compete for a title. 7 years. That's what we are dealing with here right now. He came in and said United need to be winning every single game. Last season was where United should be. And then this season, it was overachieving because this season that we're having is so poor. Like, he changes all of the time. That's the issue I've got with Ten Hag. I want him to do well. I want him to succeed, but you cannot keep talking the way you're talking. And let's see how everyone feels if we don't beat Crystal Palace on Monday night. Is it just because we've had a week off and all of this PR has just been thrown down our throats that we're thinking that Ten Hag is the right man? Is it simply because there isn't anyone else out there that's convincing enough for us to change Ten Hag? I mean, the fan base is stuck in the middle of a fine balancing act with it, because we want to see better football. We want value for money. We want our money being spent and invested the right way into the football club. We want the right players. We want the players to show more desire. We want the players to want to play for the shirt. There's too many things to sort out in one. And I do think that it's coming down to a stage now of it getting so late into the season where INEOS are probably looking at this and going, look, can we just see this first year through with Ten Hag and improve on last season? He hasn't been backed. They've shown that, INEOS, by getting rid of everyone that's above him. So in their eyes, they've not said anything, INEOS, but they've also told us in what they've done in the hiring and firing side of things above Ten Hag that they don't believe that Ten Hag has had the right support in his time at Manchester United and doing what they're doing. I do believe in that as well. And I think INEOS, right now, if I'm a betting man right now on where I'm going, if I have to put a percentage on it, or out of 10, I was thinking not 2 weeks ago that it was probably 70-30 that Ten Hag would go. I think I'm more on the 60-40 that Ten Hag will go now. Like, it's closing in. Like, the closer it gets to the end of the season, the more convinced I am that Ten Hag will probably stay. But the results, again, will speak volumes. He's got some tough games now over this next 3 weeks before the season finishes. And if he gets smashed by City at the end of the season, it's going to be difficult for INEOS not to move him on. But hey, that pretty much rounds up your paper round, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. Really appreciate all your comments, all of the super chats, and everyone getting involved today in the polls as well. Just to finish up the poll, we said one at the top end of the show, which was, which defender would you prefer to use in a trade-in for Branthwaite, Maguire, Lindelof, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, or Willy Campbell? Lindelof and Maguire are dead heat. 42% apiece. Aaron Wan-Bissaka 10%, and then just a measly few percent for Willy Campbell. Thanks for voting on the poll, everybody. Thank you for getting involved. Please give the video a like on your way out. Let's get up to that 150 mark, everyone. I really appreciate you all being here on this Sunday morning on the bank holiday. Game day tomorrow. We're back tonight with the live show. So make sure that you're all tuned in, ready for that. Looking ahead to what is coming tomorrow as well in Crystal Palace. So yeah, fully interactive Sunday show is back tonight, guys. Thank you so much for joining us this morning on the paper round. I'll see you all later on this evening. Have a